welcome back to the channel. I am currently driving back to the Brainerd Paradigm shop. I went down and picked up the heads from Travis Knowlton at KTRE. Did an amazing job. We're going to show those here in a bit. This episode you can expect to see, we're going to go over finishing our Hemi engine, the top end, how all of the rockers, everything like that goes back on and works. And then we're going to get the engine set back in and the transmission back in. We do have a video that will be coming out. What are we changing to go from a big tire slick, you know, a no prep or no time big tire type of a setup to radials? So what are we changing for suspension on that? And we do have a really cool video. It's just taking a little bit to get done. We've already filmed a bunch for it. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can catch that one in a bit, because we're going to go over a lot of really cool stuff for that. So, but we're on our way back. Something pretty cool is about to happen. My 2005 GMC is about to turn 300,000 miles, and I figured, why not share it with everybody on the channel? So here we go. Bam! Wow, yeah! Look at that! Woo! Alright, we are back in the shop, getting ready to put the heads, make this a long block, and then we can get it stuffed into the car. So, the couple of things we're doing right now is we're finishing putting lifters in. I do pre-lube the lifters with assembly grease. The same red assembly grease we were using in previous videos from Maxima. I put that on there just because a Hemi does not have oiling that goes through the lifter bores like a big block Chevrolet would or anything. So we want to make sure that on the first few cranks, everything like that, that there's oil there. We're going to make sure that it's doused in oil beforehand, but if I can have something a little stickier, we're going to do that. So this is the last set of lifters that we're going to be putting in. These are Motorsports Unlimited products. They are made for top alcohol and you know, Hemi stuff. They're made by Morel for them. They helped do some of the coatings and things like that on there, so it's a really cool deal. We got these mid-season when we chewed up a cam last year. So what we're checking on here is we want to check the rollers because there's needle bearings in here. Make sure there's no play in there. And we check that, and then there's no play in there. So then what we'll do is make sure that they're the correct way like that on there so you can read it. We're going to lube up everything on the sides here and the roller, and then slide it in, because that lube then, when it's going up and down in the block on there, will give us a little bit of protection before the oil is going to get there. Now, we will prime the engine. We're going to do all of our due diligence beforehand. We're not just going to dry fire it. But at the same time, we want to, you know, give it the best chance of, you know, survival and everything that we can. So let's go ahead and get this in there. We'll slip it in, and then we'll start getting head gaskets and studs ready. Almost got all of the studs into the block here. These studs, let me pull this one out. This is the last one on here. Normally on like an ARP stud, which this is an older ARP on there, they have a hex on here so you can put them in. Well, these do not. Let me go like that and see. Can you see that there? Let me know if you can see that. All right, you can? Cool. So with that, then a lot of people know this trick, but if you don't, here's a great trick to be able to put these in. Sometimes it'll get stiff when you're putting it in there, and you can't get it all the way down. So what we do is we use a double nut. We're actually using the nuts for this. I've already broken that loose. So we'll put a wrench on, and we'll put a nut upside down on here. thread it on there. Looks like there might be a little bit of gunk there, but we have the nut on upside down. We take this nut here, jam it together, and then you can put it right on. And now you have your studs all the way down. These are a 9/16 stud, so they're very, very beefy. And now we can sit here, put it all the way down, just like that. Now I've had to do that on every single stud for this block. 13 per side on there. So that's 26 studs I've had to do this to. Then we also have another 8 studs that go here, 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 and here on both sides, so 4 and 4 on there. But those go underneath the head, so they're actually screwed into the head, and then the head goes down, and then we have a nut underneath the valley, or in the valley here, to suck everything down. So it's a lot of clamping force on there, but what this does is it gives 5 clamping points per cylinder. That gives it a really good clamping force to hold all of the boost pressure in there. So let's finish getting these on there, and then we'll get the heads ready. All right, so I'm back at my workbench, my toolbox. You guys have seen it, but back to the workbench here. I've got this is one of our Hemi heads. This is our passenger side Hemi head. I do try to keep them on the same sides. It's just a weird thing. They can go on either side. They are interchangeable from side to side on there, but it's, I try to keep it there, so if something gets hurt on, say, this cylinder, I know that, if it goes back on, I can trace anything on there, and I don't go, wait, was that the head that was on the other side, and then that's causing an issue or anything like that. I can keep everything on the same deal there. Some people like to do that, some people don't care. I just like to keep everything the same, so if there's ever an issue, I'm not questioning anything later. But anyways, so we're back up on it. We had some O-rings replaced on here. I think he did 1 or 2. I believe this was one of them on here. If you can see, let's see if we can stand this up. Get it closer to you. You see how we have the O-ring here? That is actually a stainless wire that gets a groove cut in there, and then it is tapped in place, and then it's a wedge fit on there. Standards are like 041 wire is pretty common. 050 to 051 is another common size on there. What we need to do, these studs right here get screwed in here. Now since these are drilled and tapped, and then they put a helicoil in there, these heads have been resurfaced. Not lately, but at some point they have been resurfaced on there, and that helicoil gets nicked on there, and so a lot of times it'll make it a little bit hard to get that in there. So we'll use that double nut deal again on these if we need to. Like that one, it's only in that little bit, so we're gonna double nut all these, get them in like that. We'll grab the other head, put that on. Now that we have the studs installed and are ready for everything, we are going to start preparing to put the head on. It's not as simple as just slap the head on here and go. There are a few things that we have to do beforehand here. So the couple things we need to look at on here are going to be, 1, the head gasket. This is a Clark head gasket they are located in Blaine, Minnesota. Clark, it is an 093 on there. The previous setup had 100 thou gaskets on there, so we just increased the compression just a very small amount. But 093 is a very common size that Clark does for these Hemis, so it was much easier. I ordered them on Tuesday. I had them here on Wednesday. They're a great company. They are super fast, so that's what we use for all of our copper gaskets, whether it's a nitrous big block or a boosted Hemi or anything like that. When we use coppers, we really like to use Clark. We much prefer Clark just because it's a local company to Minnesota, and since we're in Minnesota, we're gonna support a local company. So on the Hemi engine, there is right here, it's a tiny little hole. Can you see that? I'm going to zoom in on it right. That hole right there has an oil restrictor in it, and that is the oil feed coming up through here, through the block, to the head, and then that goes to the rocker arms and feeds everything for the top end. Now, that, since it's going to be, this right here, since it's going to be pressurized, we want to make sure that doesn't have a leak on it or anything. So we're going to put a little bit of silicone right around this right here, okay? On both sides of the head gasket. So it's going to go here and here on the head gasket, or on the block and on the other side of the gasket type of a deal. Also, down here, you can see right there, we showed this when we were tearing the engine apart. If you go back a couple of episodes when we were doing the teardown of the short block, we showed that these are the oil drain back holes. Now, we're going to put a little bit of silicone around those as well, on both sides of the gasket. Reason being for that. Now, this is going to be one where everybody, get your calculators out and be ready for some math. All right, we're quite the math magicians around here. So, you have an aluminum block. You have a steel sleeve. Okay, the aluminum block is going to expand twice as fast as steel. All right, with heat. With that being said, the sleeves right here actually sit above the block. Like I can, my thumbnail catches it on there. Okay. Those are up there so it can seal. But if you do not put anything around these on the holes here, since that's not sitting all the way down because the steel sleeves hold it up, you're gonna have oil leaks. Yeah, seal all that stuff up. So we're gonna put a little bit of silicone. Back at the engine, this is sat actually 2 days. I took a day off from working on this, so we're back here getting ready to put the valve or the rocker arms on so we can finish torquing up the heads. We have the rocker arm assembly here. These are stage 5. That's the brand. It's not like your Honda Civic clutch. It's a stage 3 clutch and whatever on there. That's stupid. These are stage 5 rockers. That's just the name of the company. The 4th rocker here. Remember on the head gasket where we said there was an oil feed on there? There's a little bit that where we put the silicone on there. Well, that comes up through the number 4. Sorry, that comes up through the number 4 rocker stand here and oils everything. Let's see if we can get a look at it real quick. Let's go right here. There we go. If you look right in here, see how it's drilled there? That's the oiling coming up, and it oils everything for the rockers. So we're gonna go ahead and get this kind of cleaned up, and then we're gonna set it on there. last item up for today is going to be putting the lash caps on. So we have all the lash caps that need to go on top of here. And then we're going to put push rods in and set valves. That's a pretty straightforward deal that we do on there, but we do have new push rods that we're going to be putting on. We got those custom made from Manton, and we're going to then reuse our lash caps. We do have spare lash caps. The lash cap right there, it's a very small item, and it goes just like that. They go on all of the valves. On a titanium valve, a lot of times it does not have a hardened tip on there, and it can actually hurt the valve, crack it, or mushroom it on there. So you have to use a lash cap on that. And what that's going to do is that's going to take a lot of that beating and everything that happens from the lash coming on there. So we're going to go ahead, get all that in, get the push rods in, lube everything up, and get this ready to toss in. There we have it, everybody. We are, Al's behind me, as you can see. He's finishing putting some bolts up in for the transmission, just to get everything hooked up properly on there. So he's getting that, then he's gonna hook up the torque converter and do all that stuff. But once he's got all of that in there, then we're gonna go ahead and put this down. As you can see, we've got our cribs down here. There. We're gonna get it on the scales over here. We can get underneath and see where all the bars are, and we're gonna film all of that for the next episode that I've talked about. That's going to be what do we change to go from a big tire to a small tire. So everybody, thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Share it with your friends. Use your impact. But everybody, be safe out there. Until next time. Have a good one.